All right, folks, in this tutorial, I wanted to cover some of the management aspects of the lessons tool. So let's go ahead and look at a lessons module. So in this site here, it's called weekly lessons, right? So let me click on that. And then when you get here, like many of the Laulima menus or Laulima tools, we see our tabbed menu at the top here. So at the top level, right, a main lessons page, you usually have these 4 tabs. Add content. You guys are very familiar with this one at this point. I'm not even going to bother talking about that one. This one called more tools, one called reorder, and the settings tab, right? Or settings, that little cog there. This more tools menu, when you click on it, gives you several options. You can add more pages, which means you're adding main level, top level lessons pages that are going to appear in your navigation bar. When you use this remove page, it means you're removing a page from your navigation bar here. Not deleting it though, right? Just removing it from our navigation. Permissions allows you to alter some of the permissions of a page. By the way, the default setup, generally what you want, so I wouldn't necessarily tinker with those too much unless you want to give maybe your TA some different access or permissions. The last 3 are things I'm not talking about in this tutorial. These are common cartridge files that allow you to move content from one learning management system to another. So you can supposedly import content from another learning management system, and you can export Laulima stuff to go into another learning management system. If you want to learn more about that, let me know, make an appointment, we can chat about that. The external tool import, we only have one, I think, right now. It's for Vital Source. I think it's e-text. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about that. It allows you to incorporate things like e-textbooks into the Laulima site. Again, if you want to know more about that, give me a holler and we can make an appointment to go over that. I just want to look at these 2 at the top here. So let's look at the add more pages option. So what add more pages is, or what you're asking or trying to do when you click on add more pages is, again, you're going to be adding lessons modules that are going to appear at the top level, right? These are main pages, not sub pages, and they're going to appear in your site navigation here. And actually, let's do it in this site. So here we are, we're in a lessons module called week 1. In this site, I have one called week 1, one called week 2, and you'll notice that the week 2 is missing. So let's go ahead and add a week 2. So I want to start here. I'm going to click on week 1 because week 1 has all the stuff I want to appear in week 2 in terms of overall structure, right? It has the header box here, has the 2-column look I want, right? Just imagine this was the ideal lessons module I wanted, and structure I wanted to use in my subsequent week 2. So I'm going to start here in week 1. I'm going to click on more tools, and then I'm going to click on add more pages. So I'm going to type in week 2, which is there. By the way, you can bulk add. Say I was on week 1 and I wanted to add weeks 2 through 16, right? You can do that by just saying, I guess that would be 15 pages at that point. So you start with week 2, put in 15, and it just tells you down here, whatever number you put here, it'll automatically, depending on how many pages you're creating, append the sequence, right? The next number in the sequence. So it would create week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, all the way up to the 15 pages that you're creating. So if you put a number in here, it's just going to follow that order if you put a number in this box here. This box here, if again this is your ideal module, the structure is good, that's what you want to incorporate into this page that you're creating, you want to make sure you click on this box. Now this is really advantageous, right? Maybe your week 1 module, you're at this point, you're not done with it, right? You didn't put all the little details in, but the structure looks good in terms of the section breaks, the column breaks, where the check boxes are, maybe the placeholders for the images, all that stuff. You can check this box, and by doing so, when you create this new lessons module, all of that stuff will come over, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I click on save now, and I slide down, here's our week 2, right? So if I click on week 2, now remember when you create a new lessons module, when you first go into it, it's blank. In this case, because I checked that box, it brought everything over, right? So I didn't have to put in the section break, text box here, column break, image here, check box, right? All and links to these things. All of that stuff came over. You'll notice that it's out of order, right? But easy to fix. Site info, tool order, and we can just move it up, right? So there's our week 2 now in order. Week 1, week 2, week 3. And again, week 2, because we checked that box, right? This box here, make new page copies of the current one. Now I have all of this content here. One other thing in this add more pages menu I wanted to show you is be careful about this one. Sometimes people click that one, put existing page in the left margin. And what happens with that is it makes, and it tells you right down here, this is not creating a new copy of the page. It's creating a duplicate of a page, which means it's a living duplicate. If you make changes in one, it's going to appear in the other. And why you would want to do this is maybe if you accidentally remove the page and you wanted to bring it back. So if I click on this, put existing page in the left margin, and maybe there was a page that I'm not using that I want to restore, right? I removed it from navigation. Now I want to bring it back. Let me just actually show you what this would look like. So I'm going to create a week 4, right? So I'll do a week 4. And actually, I'll show you this too. So I'm going to add a week 4 and 5, right? So I put week 4 here. I say add 2. Then I want to check that box because I want all the content to come over. Then I'm going to click on save. So there it is. So I have a week 4 and 5, right? So if I click on week 4, it looks the same. Click on week 5, the same. There it is, all right? Now, say for example, I'm going to get back to that copy existing content, right, from a, or copy contents from an existing page, and that duplicate. Let me just show you this other function first. So I'm going to click on more tools. I'm actually going to click on remove page. This is how you remove again, right? So again, removing the page from the left margin, but it's not deleting it. I'll show you how to delete in a second. So let me just go ahead and click on, actually, let's make sure I'm in the right. So let's say this week 5 I don't want. So I'm in week 5. I go here, I click remove page. It's telling you, right, you're going to remove it. I say yes. Now you'll notice week 5 is gone, right? So now let's go back. So I'm here in week 4 and I say, well, actually I did like that week 5. Let me bring it back. If I click on more tools, add more pages, and I click on put existing page in the left margin. If I click on that and I select, right? So here it is, week 5 that I deleted, or actually I didn't delete, I removed. If I click on that and hit use selected items, it's back, right? So now I can restore it, and I don't have to create a new page and try to copy the content. I just pulled it back in. Again, by using that right down here, right? Put existing page in left margin. The reason why I say be careful with this is because when you click this, you'll notice you can actually duplicate or bring pages back from stuff that you're currently using. And oftentimes people click on, oh, I want to duplicate my week 1. So they click on this, right? So if I click on week 1, use selected, and there's my week 1 now. And what's wrong with this, or what's bad about this, is these two are duplicates. If I change stuff here, right? So here's my week one at the top, has this blah, blah, blah there. If I look at this week one here, there's my blah, blah, blah there. I'm going to go back to this first one. Watch what happens if I take this out. So I changed it in that one, but it's missing from this one too. So these are duplicate pages that are live. These are pages that are connected. So if you plan to like create this as a a copy, and you were planning to alter it for a following week or something like that, if you make changes, it's going to appear in this one here too, right? So that is not how you copy or duplicate in the sense of like using it for future lessons. I'll show you how you do that in a second. And just to prove it to you, right? So here it is, week one, the top one, blah, blah, blah is gone. Go to this week one, blah, blah, blah is gone. Let me put it back. And I click save. If I go back to this first one, there it is, right? So you guys get the idea. And I already showed you how to remove, right? So let's go ahead and remove that. Actually, I don't want to remove that one. I want to remove this guy here. So I'll just remove it. And it should be gone now. Yeah, so it's gone, right? So there's my week one and my only week one. Okay. All right. Let's look at this reorder option now. What reorder, a couple things you can do with your reorder menu is to actually move content around on your page. So say, for example, you wanted your homework link to go above this test link. It's just a drag and drop thing. Grab it, drop it up there, click save. So now my homework link that was down here is now up here. You'll notice you also have things like section breaks and stuff. Now, when you have a lot of content on the page, I just got to be honest, this is not necessarily an easy way to move stuff around because you'll see, okay, there's a section break here, there's text here, there's another section break here, there's this blank thing, then there's a column break here, right? So it's not very clear what a lot of these things are. And so if I didn't know, like if I drag this section break after this column break, what did I actually do? Well, I messed up my columns essentially, right? So that column break that was here is now moved after whatever was this blank cell here, right? So it's not necessarily a good way, I think, to add your stuff, or excuse me, to move stuff around a lot. I think if it's obvious things that you know what you're moving around, then it's not so bad. Let me just move this back so it looks like what it was before, right? So when you look at this reorder menu, you can just be careful when you move this stuff around. Like the things that I do here is like, I know, oh, I just want to move content around. So I want this forum link to be on the top. Then I can just drag it, click save. And now my forum link went from down here up here, right? So obvious things like that. The other thing I use in this reorder menu is, say, for example, I know I want to delete these links. I don't even want this test4 link here anymore. So you have these X's here. So when you click on the X, it tells you these are items that you're deleting. And then you click on save, and then it deletes it for you, right? So you have the ability to drag and drop stuff up here. And then you have the ability to delete stuff by clicking on the red X there. And then you have this thing down here, add items from another page. Now, this is really, really, really important. So you saw how I copied earlier, right? When I wanted to create this week 2 module, I created from this more tools menu, add more pages, selected that box, right? So that's one way to duplicate a module. But the other way you could do it, right? So let me just create a week 6. So here I am, week 5. I am going to add another page, and I'm going to call it week 6. And I didn't check this box. I forgot. So here we are, week 6. I click on it. Oh, it's that empty one, right? The one we usually see. You don't have to now go, oh my God, I'm messed it up and I have to start over. If you use this reorder option and click add items from another page, you can actually say, I want to bring the stuff from week 5 into week 6. And it'll tell you these are all the things it's adding. I'm just going to click on save. And now week 6 has content, right? I didn't have to build a section break, text box, section break, column break, add image, link, checklist, right? I didn't have to do that. All I did was from my reorder menu, use add items from another page, brings it all in. Don't need to worry about building it from scratch, right? Really, really helpful. So those of you who have been asking, and you guys have been asking already, do we have to build every module from scratch or can we copy them over? And yes, this is how you would do it. You would be using that either at the top level, right? You're building a new page and you're checking this box, or you're using this reorder menu and using this add items from another page option, which lets you bring content in from existing lessons, both lessons, main pages and sub pages, right? Okay, this last menu, when you click on it, it's the settings. So you can do things like change the page title. If you wanted it to appear as a required module or a required element in a lessons module, then you click on that require this page, which puts the little asterisk next to it. And you can hide pages from users. So if this was a draft, you don't want them to see it yet, you can click that box. And then this is really, really handy. If you want to set it up, so you create all 16 modules for the semester, and maybe you want it to release automatically at certain days and times, this is how you would do it. You would click on your little menu here, select the day using your time sliders. So maybe we want this to appear on the 28th at midnight. And now it's going to do that. No need for you to remember to do that on your own. You can have it automatically do that by checking that box and making sure that the date and time here is correct. If this main page was like the entire lessons module, or this entire lessons page was some sort of assignment, you could create a gradebook item directly from here by clicking on this box and putting in the points. And then the last couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. I'm not going to talk about how you do it now. If you wanted to change the look and feel of your site, background colors, images, fonts, and all of that, and you know enough about creating CSS files, you can alter the look and feel of your site by uploading a new CSS file. If you want to talk about how you do that, reach out to me. I'll go over it with you. I actually have some CSS files that you can kind of take a look at and play with to alter the, again, color scheme, font families, that kind of stuff. All right, the last one, and I'm just going to be honest, never done this before, but if you ever wanted to change the owner, say you wanted students to have a lessons module, and you could like tell students, I want each one of you is going to build a module for one of our weekly lessons. You can actually change the owner of a module by using this drop down here. It'll give you a list of all the participants to the site. You can make them owner. And again, I'm just being honest, I've never done this, but I've thought about potentially doing this one day. But anyway, if you want to know more information about that, again, reach out, we can talk about it. All right, so that's all the management things that you can do at a main lessons page, right? Not a sub page, we're talking main lesson page. Let's look at a sub page. So here's a sub page, right? And we know it's a sub page because there's our main page, here's our sub page, and again, our more tools menu gone. So again, I'm not going to talk about add content because you guys know how to do that. But I want to talk about reorder again. And let's do it this way. I'm going to go in here and I am going to create a subpage called week 2. And I want to show it as a button rather than a link, right? So now if I go to my mains lessons page, and here's my new subpage, week 2. So I'm going to click on week 2 now. And remember, my week 1 is exactly how I wanted it, right? So I'm going to click on reorder, click on add items from another page. I'm going to click on this week 1 because it's the subpage now, right? Then I'm going to click on use selected items. Gives me a summary of what it's adding. I click save. And now my week 2 has brought all the structure from my week 1 subpage right in here, right? Again, that reorder and being able to add items from another page, extremely helpful because you don't have to build your modules from scratch over and over again. Once you get it set up, and how you would use this, or how I suggest you use this, is if you're using sub pages, build out all the sub pages for your class. So if this was a semester long course, build all your 16 weeks of sub pages, right? Go to your last sub page, week 16, build your lessons module, put the structure that you want there, have that be your ideal template. Don't put all the details in, right? Don't put all the lessons links and all, or the, excuse me, the assignment links and things like that. Don't put all the text there. Just put all the placeholders there. Welcome message, you know, you can put the images in as placeholders, right? Placeholder images. Put the section breaks, column breaks, the checklist. Put all that stuff there. Then when you're ready to build out your week 1, you go to week 1, reorder, add items from another page, select that, right? It's not going to look like that in this site, but imagine you had your week 16, that ideal template built out. You would select it, use selected items, and then it's going to plop in that template for you. Again, no need to do that from scratch. You can bring all of that stuff over, and then it's just a matter of tweaking the week 1. Put in the correct assignment links, alter the images if you need to. Of course, these things would change, right? It would have to say week 1 instead of week 16. Put in the proper text, change the checklist, whatever, right? But the overall structure is going to be there for you. Like in our mains lessons modules or our mains lessons page, you can click on the settings icon and do things like change the title, hide the page, and make it available on a certain date and time. Also change the CSS file, and then set the owner to someone else, right? So it's very similar to that other item, or excuse me, that other menu that we see at the main lesson page. By the way, let me just go back to the main page. You can also change some of those settings right here in a sub page by clicking on that icon there. So here's we can actually hide the page here, alter the CSS, and we can also click on the require. So some of the things that you can change in that other menu, right, this settings menu, you can change right here by clicking on the pencil icon. That's only in a sub page though. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. I know that was a lot, but this is really important. This is how you're going to save yourself a lot of time and grief. One thing I should point out, if you are using sub pages, right? So you're going to have a main lessons page called weekly lessons, and then you're going to have all of your week 1, week 2, week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way through week 16. You're going to have those as sub pages. You wouldn't have these here, right? It's either or. You don't want to confuse your students, right? So if you're building sub pages, you would do it this way. If you're building lessons pages, separate lessons pages that are going to appear in your navigation bar, then you would build separate lessons pages for each one. But you shouldn't be doing these sub pages and then having these main pages here. It'll just confuse your students. So one or the other. Regardless of the method you choose, It's up to you. The only things I would say, just remember, if you have 16 weeks, you're going to have 16 of these here and any of these other tools. So you have 16 tabs here for sure, maybe overview, announcement, syllabus, right? So you could end up with, I don't know, 20 tabs that your students are going to see in this navigation bar. Personally, I like the subpage view better because you'll have a weekly lessons tab here, and then they can get to the subpages that are nested here. So they'll see all of their weekly lessons within um, that weekly lessons main page. So that's a design thing that you guys got to think about. Um, and you know, there's no right or wrong answer. Sometimes I could see why having it this way would be much more clear, right? I know this is the week 1 content. I know this is where the week 2 content is, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I don't know, from a navigation standpoint, having fewer places for them to go might not be a bad idea by creating subpages. All right, I'm gonna stop there. Oh, no, actually, I'm not gonna stop there. One thing I didn't talk about, whew, almost forgot. You remember I said something about removing pages, right? Now, I did remove a page, right? Let me go and actually, let me just show you one more time. I'm going to remove, not this page. I want to go to this week 6. So here I am on my week 6, and I'm going to remove it. And I click remove. If you ever want to see all the existing removed pages, you can go to any of your lessons module. So I'll just click on week 1. Right up here, you'll always see this in any lessons module that you're in, this thing called index of pages. When you click on it, it will show you pages in the current site, and these are pages that you created, but you removed right from the navigation, so they're no longer here, but it's showing you all of those pages here. Now, I showed you earlier, right? How do you reinstate a page? If it's down here, you would just select it and you could reinstate it. But if you wanted to clean this up, you created all of these week 1s and you're confused now, and you wanted to get rid of them. I could click all of these, right? The ones I want to delete, and then so I'll check the boxes. Then I'll click on delete selected pages, and they're gone, right? And in that case, I should have deleted that one because I actually deleted my week 1 module. So just be careful, and that's actually probably a good example of just be careful what you delete. I think I had duplicates of the week 1 module that I removed, and then I deleted them. That's why this content is gone now. But luckily, right, we can always restore. Here's I want to take from my week 2, and luckily I can reestablish. So here's my week 1 module. I brought it all back by using my reorder option, right? But now if I go to my index of pages at this point, all those week 1s are gone. If I wanted to delete the rest, by the way, you can batch delete by just clicking the choose all, and it'll delete everything. So now if I go to my index of pages, there it is, only pages that are within my current site. All right. Other things you can do from this menu, if you notice, you see these drop downs here. This will actually show you the content, a summary of the content that's within that page or sub page. And if you wanted to see them all, you can just click the show items. It'll show you all of them. If you don't want to see them, collapse them, you can hit hide items. All right, now I'm really done. Okay, so we looked at some of the management aspects of a lessons module. So these options, using the index of pages, how we add, remove, copy, copy and duplicate, right? The live duplicate versus copying. So that's about it. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. If you have questions, always feel free to reach out. All right, guys, thanks.